My little dog gone, oh where can he be? With his tail cut short and his ears cut long, oh where can he be?
As a concerned citizen of Urbana, Illinois, I have long held an interest in the welfare and well-being of the animals of this community. So it was natural for me to look into the activities and the programs of the Champaign County Humane Society. From a historical standpoint, this organization was founded by some concerned citizens, I presume like myself, in 1903, and their goal was to provide aid to sick and injured animals. Today, as yesterday, the goal of the organization remains to provide humane treatment to animals and look after their welfare. Some of the duties or activities of the organization are listed on this chart. They house and care for unwanted and stray animals. They place animals in good homes. They help reunite lost animals with their owners. They investigate cruelty complaints. They provide the only animal rescue service in Champaign County. They teach responsible pet ownership and encourage animal welfare legislation. It's a not-for-profit organization, and they solicit your membership. A current feature of the society is their A Pet program. From the society's literature, the program is described as a means for pet visits to retirement homes, convalescent facilities, and detention centers. Following orientation, volunteers prepare and transport shelter pets for their visits, introduce pets and people, and then share in the fun. A Pet volunteers and Humane Society shelter pets are welcomed in centers throughout Champaign County and in neighboring Piatt and Ford counties. The visits are praised for their therapeutic value, both physical and emotional. Quennie Mills, a member of the Board of Directors of the Humane Society and a co-founder of the Pet program, is here today to tell us something about this very unique activity. And Queenie has as her guests two individuals who are deeply involved in the program. They are Clover Gowing, a member of the Board of Directors, and Susan Greer, Activities Director of the Champaign-Urbana Health Care Center, and she's also coordinator of the Pet program for nursing homes in this area. To start this discussion, Queenie, I have to say that many of the newspapers and magazines which I'm reading nowadays have in them articles on this human-animal bond movement. I wonder if you'd tell us a little bit about what this movement is and where the Humane Society's Pet program fits into this schedule.
That's a good question, Harold. I think, first of all, let's talk about the bond itself, the human companion animal bond. And anybody who's ever had a pet and loved a pet, I think knows that there's a sort of a special kind of attachment a special kind of love between that person and the pet, a bond. It's a kind of the same kind of a bond that you might have with your best friend, or perhaps your wife or your husband, if it's shortly after marriage at least. And if you really want to know what the bond means, it means you'd be almost willing to give up your life for one another, as many animals have for people and many people have for animals. And I think the best way to know what the bond is that when that bond is broken, if you've ever had a pet who's died or been lost, I think you know what the bond is. It's very, very strong. We're just beginning to recognize, however, and this is what the pet movement, the whole human companion animal bond movement is all about, we're just beginning to recognize the influence that pets can have, the positive influence that pets can have on one's health and well-being. And there's a good deal of research that's been going on just within the past 10 years. Wouldn't you say, Clover?
Yes,
maybe about 10 years. That it's really gotten off the ground. And now, as you say, you see it in practically every newspaper and every magazine you pick up, and this is good because it helps all of us with our Pet-a-Pet program and other pet therapy programs. Now, when I talk about pet therapy, you might think this is sort of a treatment. And for some people who are ill, pets are very, very necessary. But you can't cure old age, Harold. We know
I'm
that.
finding that out.
Yeah. You can't cure old age. There's no treatment for it. However, pets can improve the quality of life for older people. Mm-hmm. And back in, about 10 years ago in this community, I couldn't get a pet into a nursing home in the whole community. I did sneak a few in, but I did sneak them in. And but about in 1977-78, I had an invitation to the Garwood Home, which is a senior home in this community. It's a sheltered care home, not a nursing home. They're ambulatory, in one way or another, they're ambulatory, but they are elderly. And the mean age there was about 80 when I was working with them. And we began taking kittens or cats and puppies out to volunteers who were interested. And I began to find that some of these older people would bring out pictures of pets they'd had 40 years ago. And out would come a whole flow of reminiscences. And they had a good feeling about this. Well, eventually, they let me put a resident dog research program into this senior home. And it was really an eye-opener for all of us. I found out I'm not going to talk about the research program now, but the research program and taking the puppies and kittens from the Humane Society shelter out to this sheltered care home did engender a lot of interest in this community. And I began to get nursing home activity directors, Sue, who would say, how about us? How about bringing some pets out? And I had a few volunteers, mostly from elementary schools, who wanted to go out and play with the pets. But it meant a whole lot of supervision, a lot of coordination, which I was just not prepared to do. However,